think it was like November 2011. And I was just in the lowest point of my life. And I'm just yelling at this Mail and More parking lot. I'm like, okay, I'm tired of fighting. And I was already living in my car for 2.5 years, 200-something thousand dollars in debt. So that was going on. My girlfriend had just broken up with me. My daughter pretty much disowned me and my mom was dying in the hospital. So all of that was happening simultaneously. So like, fuck my life at that time. I'm tired of fighting. I don't want to fight anymore. I just want to be happy. I just want to be happy. I just want to be healthy. I don't want to be surrounded by nothing but positive people. And I just want to inspire people. And I want to make a bunch of money, but I want to make money with something that I passionately believe in that I would do for free. I'm going to say this again. Anybody who's listening, I want to make a bunch of money with something that I passionately believe in, with something that I would do for free. Just show me a sign. That's what I said that night. A week later, I'm at the gas station and a homeless guy asked me for money. I said, you have more money than me. And he said, change your mindset, change your life, which went on to be my company, book that sold almost 500,000 copies. That's out on Amazon in Spanish and English right now. But that word, change your mindset, change your life. Something hit my soul in a way that it never hit before. I call it a conscious interrupt. It interrupted every lie that I'd ever told to myself up to that point. Change it. So if my mind is set on something, that's why the result is what it is. Change your mindset, change your life. So I literally started teaching myself how to do the opposite of in every area of my life where I wasn't happy. I wasn't happy with my health. I wasn't happy with my mind. I wasn't happy who I was dating. I wasn't happy in all these areas. And I was like, so what's that? What's the opposite of chasing women at a nightclub? Well, probably chasing a better version of myself and reading these books. And I literally one by one started doing that. I am 14, almost 15 years removed from that time. So my life skyrocket going down, tied to 2 anchors and an elephant, is now skyrocket going up with Elon's 10 rockets that you can catch. Like there, it's all going, and it's effortless. That word, effortless.
Norman Vincent Peale was the book. Yes?
Oh yeah.
That was, so did you read that before The Homeless Man
I read
gave you
it
the wisdom?
On 3 different occasions, not realizing that what I was reading was causing me to then take different actions, which was causing different results to happen.
So you, before the parking lot of the gas station, you had already read that book?
Yeah. And I had read it before I went to prison, and I had read it another time.
This is the same thing. See, although different men, your journey is unique and the signature of your energies are the same. Khalil Rafati, when he wrote that book, I Forgot to Die. He was reading the spiritual books. His life wasn't a manifestation of it yet. You mentioned Conor McGregor. He was using law of attraction before he ever attracted shit.
Right.
Right?
Yep.
So by the time you got this homeless man that dropped a bomb on your soul, you had already prepared yourself, which goes back to what you already said. It's the fruits of your labor that come back around to give it to you back, to give it back to you on a different part of your journey.
But the thing about it is I didn't know, because you can't see the picture while you're in the frame. I didn't know that all of those books were preparing me. I had no idea. I'm just kind of just aimlessly going through life, and like cool things happen and then things stop happening. It wasn't until I started going to like seminars on wellness and leadership seminars and personal growth. And they were like, if you find a really good book, keep reading it. And I was like, oh, there's like, because the weeds, that's like the weeds of your mind can be overtaken by the garden of your past. So you got to keep tending the grass with developing. And I was like, that's why my life keeps going up and down, because I stopped reading, I stopped applying, but I didn't know that. 15 years prior, when my life went up in modeling and music and down, and then up and down and up and down. But ever since I got into personal growth, I was like, well, I'm going to go up forever. And even if my up doesn't show up as results, if I'm growing, I'm evolving. So however difficult it is, I'm never going to stop reading books. I'm never going to stop. I turned my car into a university on wheels, and I don't even listen to music. All I do is listen to personal growth in areas of my life where I'm working on. So I'm getting way more than 10,000 hours of development. It's nonstop. I wake up, I listen. I work out, I listen. I do dishes, I listen. Before bed, I listen. When I go for a walk, I listen. Sauna, cold plunge, I'm listening. So when you're like a little kid that keeps listening to a song over and over and over and you can't stop singing it, well, my new song came everything that was constantly developing my life and giving me new awarenesses and different ways to look at in the same direction.
What are you listening to right now?
A lot of wavelength and frequencies and theta, a lot of vibration, the frequency of pink, the frequency of purple, all of these different sounds, because I'm just fixated on the resonance of the body.
And this came in part from your time in Egypt that you were sharing with me.
Yes. So it was about 30-something people who were about 14 days in Egypt, and we went to 19 to 20 different pyramids. One of the last pyramids was the King's Chamber. We were in there for about 12 hours, and the majority of the time we were in there, we were singing the entire time, just singing. And I'm just like feeling things just retune in my body. And I'm just like, man, this is extraordinary. I lay in the king's sarcophagus, and there was two voices at the end of the sarcophagus and two on the other, and they're just making this ooh sound. All of a sudden, I get this download. Garrain, we are now in shifting into Earth 2.0. Just think in terms of an iPhone. They don't go from iPhone 6 to 7 to 8 and keep the same exact buttons and processing speed. So we're now shifting into Earth 2.0. There will be a human 2.0. It'll be the harmonized human. All of this is downloads that are coming through. And that is one who is in harmony with nature as it was designed. Everybody is out of balance, out of all these energies, masculine, feminine energies. Everything is all off balance. Garrain, your job is to restore balance to nature as it was designed. It's not about making people wrong. It's about holding the line, because Garrain, there's a reason why you were raised by all women, and then the streets and jail and prison raised your unhealthy masculine. You moved to Austin. You start loving your father and your brother and everything, and then that groomed the healthy masculine so that you could become harmonized. And the part of the men that they let in is the feminine that you fully accept inside of yourself, but you look like them, but they haven't accepted women in there like that. And the part of the woman that they've accepted you in is because you represent a level of safety in a masculine man they've never encountered in their entire life, who doesn't want anything. And so you're the harmonized that sits right up in the middle to bring nature back into balance of everybody. So all of this was coming through. And he said, Garrain, teach people how to activate their throat chakra, because what allows you to flow and express what you authentically want to express comes from your power, your sacral chakra, your power belly. So if you don't have confidence here because you stuffed it down because you didn't want to speak up because your dad was overted and knocked you down, that means you had to choose a different voice. And majority of the world are suffering in silence because they've never actually expressed their true voice. Like you said, what your game is, my game in everything I've ever done was the person that gives permission slips because he's himself in every room he goes into. He's authentically him. When he wants to sing, he'll sing. When he wants to dance, when he wants to drum, the next thing you know, 300 people are dancing. And so that's how I even got into creating my company, Artist Power, because it was like, Garrain, start with art, then take them to transformation, because art is where they first learned how to exercise expression.
Well, I have to tell you, we have a new caretaker for our children, and it's Alice, one of your students. which is amazing.
Ah.
So the energy that you've rippled out is already impacting our family. So shout out to Elise on the podcast.
Yes, her art came online through that whole process.
And I can feel her genuineness. And this genuineness, if you've done enough work on yourself, you have the esoteric knowledge, you have the nonverbal language that allows you to see when someone's being authentically themselves or not. She's that way.
Yeah.
And I think it's a testament to your work because everybody wants to express themselves. Everybody wants to be authentic.
Yeah.
But sometimes, man, in my life, I'm figuring out in the moment what's authentically real for me as I share it.
Absolutely.
So I don't think I think it's a disservice to this word authenticity.
Yeah.
Where one needs to hold themselves to being perfectly authentic at all
Absolutely.
times. Because I'm different than I was 5 minutes ago.
Absolutely.
To quote Alan Watts, give yourself permission to be different 5 minutes than what you were before.
Mm-hmm.
So I wonder for you sitting here today, this term authenticity gets thrown around, but it's weaved in the tapestry of your work.
Yeah, it gets thrown around by people who are not authentic.
Exactly.
And so when people who are not authentic throw it around, now the perception of authenticity loses its resonance. But then when somebody is actually authentic, that doesn't have to say it, what it does two things. What is that? Oh my goodness, I'm intrigued. Or he's displaying a part of himself that I haven't accepted inside of myself. So I'm gonna make up all kind of weird shit. I've been there before.
Yeah.
And so I used to know this. And so I would limit my real self, like my real self, the one who has a big personality, loves fashion, and is like, okay, well, I'm going to position myself this way so maybe I can get on this person's podcast and say all the right things.
Yeah.
I would do that.
Was it like that for you when you went on Impact Theory many years ago? Were you embodying that behavior then?
No, I had busted out and I said, I need to be myself. And the first week I said, I need to be myself, I get a call from
That was it.
And I was like, that's my first podcast I was on. People try to go, they tried to get on. My very first podcast was Impact Theory and them reaching out and saying, we don't have any stories like yours on there. And I was like, this shit, all right. Well, then maybe this personal development thing, maybe this is the thing if this is how we're starting off. So when people who are not being authentic then say you need to be authentic, one, it creates great space for me to just be myself and not like I'm trying to be authentic. It's literally me simply being myself. The only places in my life that are not working are the places that don't lack my full presence. In order for me to be fully present, you have to have fully Garrain. He fucks up. He mistakes words. You know, sometimes freaking he works all day and his wife has to come in and be like, Garrain, you smell. But Garrain's being Garrain because Garrain's working all day. So he didn't think about food. He didn't think about but it's just me.
Yeah.
I was at Genius Network, the annual event, put on by Joe Polish. And it's one of the most powerful business-minded rooms in the country. And they gave me 10 minutes to do a 10-minute talk on their main stage 2 days ago. And I'm shitting my pants because I'm like, all right, so you got this guy as the owner of the Cincinnati Reds and this person, whatever. And I know what happens when thousands of people come and sign up for my containers. They know what they're going to get. These people had no idea. And a lot of people function from their analytics. And so I was just like, you know what? What would the real Garrain do? He would create a safe space where the little kid inside actually feels like they can express themselves, probably for the first time in their life. So what did I do? I went straight out there and I was just fully me. And I just started singing, doing the pentatonic scale. I was like, sing with me. And next thing you know, you see people in suits and ties singing, and I get them to stand up. All of a sudden, they start chanting, and people are like, yo, what's happening? Next thing you know, within 10 minutes, all of a sudden, there was all these people that are like, man, I was on the verge of divorce. Something came up through that song, and I always wanted to sing it. It's like you gave me permission. I was like, no, you gave yourself permission. I just created the safety and the example of what that looks like just by being myself. So what I got was I can be myself in any room, and that is worthy of being seen by myself. So for that, I am seen without even trying to.
Whoa. If you enjoyed that one you just saw, you will love this one on the screen. Click it and enjoy.